Hey guys, welcome to the second semester. This is where I've been excited to get to because we are going to be starting using coding. We started using coding at the beginning of the school year, and I kind of switched gears. So we're going back to coding, and I'm going to kind of go over the basics of using GameLab on code.org and how to manipulate and log in and move the screen around and that sort of thing. So most of what we're doing from here on out is kind of self-paced. So I might say to you guys, we're doing lessons, for example, 3 and 4 this week, and I might assign both lessons. And I will try to have tutorials available to you, but code.org has built-in tutorials as well. So you're going to kind of be at your own pace. So if I unlock a couple of lessons, you'll be able to work on those lessons at your own pace. There will be a due date, and the due dates are pretty important for you to keep. Okay, if anyone has any issues or any problems keeping up, or if you have any questions that need to be answered, if you're working remotely, you have to make sure that you shoot me an email. Also remember, you guys that are working remotely, on Wednesdays, I don't have students in the classroom. So on Wednesdays is the best day for me to get together with some of you who need help to do that. Okay, so I don't have a permanent Zoom on Wednesdays, but if you request some help, then if you send me an email and send me like a time or a time that you're available sort of thing, I can get together with you on Zoom. I can get together with a small group, however we need to do it, because the remote groups are quite small, so it's not a big deal if we get, 5, 6, 7 people in a group to do that. But that's only if you guys request it. Okay, so the way that I'm going to post these labs, guys, is when you go into your classroom, there's going to be questions to answer before a lesson and questions to answer after or during a lesson. Okay, and normally what I'll do is I'll create a Google Doc that'll have those questions in that, and there'll be a copy of it for everybody. So, and then I'll create a video like I'm doing right now to kind of walk you through some of the important things that you need to know for the lesson. There's always going to be a link to code.org, and I'm going to show you guys how you log in. And I'm going to do that in just a sec here. I'm going to sign out the code as far as for me. So let's just look at the questions that I have for you first for today. So we are going to lesson 3, which is drawing in GameLab. So a couple of questions. Now let me zoom in on this a little bit. All right, so before you do this, I'd like to know, based on what you know about computers, what do you think will be different between telling a person about your image and telling a computer about your image? So if you think about a picture, simple picture, we're starting out really simple. So like a picture of like a rectangle or a circle or an ellipse. What's different between telling a person about it and telling a computer about it? Okay? Not going to give you any hints. There's really no right and wrong answer, as long as you put some thought and some time into your answer. What you normally would do, guys, is you just delete what I wrote here that says type your answer here, and then you type your answer in the box there. Okay. Now, after we're done our lesson, the next question is, how can we communicate to a computer how to draw shapes on the screen? Well, you're going to know how to do that once we are done the lesson. So that kind of gives you a pre-test and a post kind of assessment on the class. So those are for you to answer. Okay. Now, so getting to code.org. If you've made it into my Google Classroom, then you are also on my code.org page. So I have a link here, or you can just type in code.org, and it will take you to this opening page. When you sign in, you don't have a username or a password or anything like that. You're going to go right here. It says continue with Google. Okay, so I click on continue with Google. Now you choose your account, which obviously is going to be your name. That'll say stu.mtcps.org. So that's your account. I'm logging into my account. This is just connecting me to Google Classroom. You won't have this on yours. Okay, so I'm logged in as me as a teacher. You'll be logged in as you as a student. there's section here on the things that we need to do. So if I go to, I'm going to use my first hour as an example. This is what my first hour and my fifth hour students will see when you go to code.org. Now I've unlocked, that's not the way I wanted to see it. Let's go this way. View all sections. I'm sorry. Let's go right down here. So if we go down to the interactive animations and games, that's our current unit. So I'll click on that. There we go. This is what I want to see. Okay, so I'm going to go to student view right now so that you'll understand what you see on your screen. So we're skipping lesson 1 and 2 because we did those like a long time ago. And I'm not going to go back and review those because we're going to kind of start fresh here. So the question of the day, this is the question that you will answer at the end of the lesson, which I have on the document that I already shared with you. So you're going to be introduced to Game Lab, which is the programming environment for this unit, and you're going to begin to use it to learn how to position shapes on the screen. You're going to understand, the importance of sequencing your code and debugging your code, and you're going to learn some commands. At the end of the lesson, you're going to be able to program images like the ones that we've done in the past. Okay. So when you see something that's green up here, it just means that you have seen that page. Okay, so I've already clicked on these 4 pages, so I've already seen these pages. So you're going to notice that there are pages where there's a little bit of reading to do. There are pages that have a video camera where there's a short video to watch. Usually they're only about 3 or 4 minutes, sometimes even shorter. Sometimes there's more than one video in a lesson. This one's got 2. And then there are skill building activities. So the skill building activities are the things that you need to do to practice. Now, you got to listen. If you mess up your code, that's good. Okay, that's a good thing because you learn from your mistakes. If I see somebody put all their effort into trying to understand something and their code doesn't work, they can still get full credit for it. Okay, this is a learning process, and coding is not the easiest thing to do. So the fact that we're doing this together, and we're doing this, some of you guys are doing it remotely, some of you guys are in the classroom. It's easier in the classroom for me to kind of help people along. A little bit more difficult for my remote students, but if you take advantage of, Wednesdays, we may be able to take care of it then. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to show you the first screen that you will see when you log in. And again, I got to go to student view. So this is what it looks like. So you will have a row of shapes that goes along the top side of your screen, and the diamonds are either explanation screens or they are videos. So you can see number 3 here is a video and number 5 here is a video. The circles are usually skill building or assessments, and you can see there's practices, there's assessments, and there's challenges. Okay. When you go through each of these screens, there's not much to read. Okay, so don't skip the reading. If you contact me and say, hey, Mr. Slack, I don't understand how to do this particular assignment, my first question will be to you is, did you read everything on that page carefully? Because a lot of kids will just go, okay, I see this, I'm going to just hit continue, and then just keep hitting the continue button, but they're not reading. Okay, I'm not going to read all of this stuff to you. This is for you to do. That's why it's on the page. This is the student version. Pay attention to vocabulary. I will be giving you quizzes on vocabulary. If I want to know what debugging means, then you should know what debugging means because it's been given to you as a vocabulary word. Okay. New code. Every time we do a lesson, if there is new code to do, the new code will be listed at the beginning of that lesson. So the new code that you're going to be learning in this lesson is your fill colors, your ellipse, and your rectangle shapes. You're going to learn what the X, Y, W, and H are in both of these as well. Sometimes you'll have some resources to go over here, and you can see in this lesson there are no resources. So basically, you read this page. Once you have a good grasp of it, you think you know what you're doing, you click the continue button. Okay, so this is where it gets fun. Okay, now the page is adjustable. So for example, this is your screen this is basically your computer screen. whatever program you write, the results of that program show up over here. Now for me, I like to make this part as big as possible. So I usually will drag this over as far as it goes. That gives me lots of room here. The other thing is that you're going to have your exploration window up here at the top. You'll have your toolbox always here on the left, and you'll have your workspace always here on the right. Sometimes you may want to adjust the size of those. Sometimes it's a little bit more helpful if you want to make your workspace a little longer. You can see all of your code. But then sometimes you have to also make sure, like if you have your instructions window here and it is small like this, you have to make sure that you use your slider bar, because when you see do this, that's exactly what they want you to do. They want you to do whatever is in that space. Okay. If you're not sure where something is, you'll see a lot of this. It'll say show me where. Okay. We're not working with partners for the most part. We're going to be working on our own. Sometimes it'll say discuss with your partner. If we're not working with partners, then you don't need to worry about that. So if we look at the workspace right here, we're learning about shapes. Now, one of the things that's very, very important and that I always talk about when we're in the classroom is where a shape appears over here. Now, if you see here, there's an X value and a Y value. And the very center of this page is 200 by 200. Let's see if I can get to 200 by 200. Right there. That's the very center. 200x, 200y. Okay. To make it a little bit easier, they give you the option of showing the grid. So I'm going to click on Show Grid. And here we go. This makes it so much easier. Now, this grid works a little bit differently than the grid does for math classes. In math, we always have our x and our y, or our x and our y axis this way, and usually in the center is your 0, 0. Okay, but in Game Lab and in video game design, the top left-hand corner is your 0, 0. Okay, we're moving over 400 units this way, and we're moving down 400 units this way. So if I count, you can see that there are these thin lines and thick lines. The thin lines are 50s. So if I count if I'm here at 0, I go 50, 100, 150, 200, which is right in the middle, 250, 300, 350, 400. Same goes for vertical. So 50, 100, 150, 200 in the middle, 250, 300, 350, 400. Okay. Now, if you look at this rectangle that's been placed in the workspace, okay, and in the video that you're going to be watching up here, she's going to explain to you that you can also click on Show Text. So if you want to type the words in, you can. Usually beginners like to show the blocks, so you can drag and drop your blocks in here. So this says, look at the line of code in the workspace below these instructions. Okay, if you're not sure where you're looking, click on Show Me Where, and it shows you right there. Discuss with your partner where you think that shape will be drawn. So when I hit this Run button, it says rectangle 100 by 100. So if I go over 100 and down by 100, where exactly is that rectangle going to be drawn? Okay, so if I click on Run, there it is. Now, with rectangles, you have to understand that the top left-hand corner is the X and the Y axis. So that this rectangle says 100 by 100, it shows up right here. Okay, it's hard to get you can't get a rectangle to show up exactly in the middle unless you use word or numbers that are in between 100 and 150. Okay, so you can experiment with the numbers. So you can change the numbers. If I want to go 112 and hit reset, finish. Whoop, sorry, I don't want to finish. And hit run. Now you can see it's kind of a little bit off center. All right, so you can mess around with the numbers over here. You can even go ahead and draw other rectangles. Put that one back to 100, 100, reset it, run it, and there it is. So I can draw another rectangle by dragging this over and clicking them together. This one's at 200, 200. So I know, because this is 200, 200 right here, that block is going to show up right here. So if I hit reset, run it, there it is, and there's still the other one. If I get rid of this one, I drag it over and delete it, I can reset it, run it again. Okay, once you've done that and messed around with it, you're done. There's not really anything else to do other than to get to know the program. So you click on Finish. Whoop, I got to hit Run. Now it's telling me I'm not finished. So what did I not do? Well, let's go back and see what I didn't do. It says change the numbers inside the block. Okay, so try to place a rectangle near the bottom of the screen. So let's see if I can go near the bottom of the screen. Now I know the second number is the y-axis, so that has to be a bigger number. So let me change this to 300. There we go, near the bottom of the screen. Now let's see what happens when I hit Finish. Now I finished. So the computer knew that I didn't finish it. So now I hit Continue, and you can see that it moves on to the video. This is a video that I've unblocked all the videos, so you should be able to watch them without any issues. They're only a few minutes long. Here we're talking about using the grid. Over here is an example of what they want you to put this. Okay, so you have here, when you're all done, you should place two rectangles exactly in the corners of the screen, just like this. Okay, so you have to understand position. So this is where turning on the grid helps. So how would I get this rectangle up here? What would I have to put in here? Okay, and then my second rectangle, it needs to show up right here. So what would I put? If I drag my second rectangle over, what numbers would I put in there? Okay, that's where you have to be thinking. So I'm not going to tell you. All right, and the other thing is, as the teacher, when I am going through this, your name will show up over here, and it'll show me what you've done. So if you have finished the assignment, it'll show me that you finished the assignment. If you haven't finished the assignment, it'll also show me that as well. Up here, there's help and tips. These are just extra things to help you along if you need a little bit more help. There's a second video, okay, right here. I'm not going to play it. That's for you to do. This is where she's going to show you how to color your shapes, okay? Then we get into the fun stuff. This is where I can tell if you paid attention in the first half. So, for example, we have up here the picture of what it should look like when you're done, all right? They have some code here, and the code is purposefully wrong. So you have to figure out how to fix it so that what is over here looks exactly like what's over here. Okay, so it says you can make your rectangles with different colors with the fill. You're going to learn what the fill is, and you would change the color by changing that. It will set the color for every shape that comes after in code. So you always do the fill before you do the shapes. Look at the code below that sets the color. If you don't know where that is, show me where. It's right here. Change the color from blue to yellow. Okay, so you would change that from blue to yellow. If I run this right now, you can see that it only shows two of these rectangles, and they're the wrong color. So I have to fix this so that they are the right color to match here, and I need to add another rectangle below there. Okay, so that's your first challenge. Second challenge, this is where the order in which you want to draw your shapes matters. So you're going to have to draw a green rectangle and a blue rectangle, but the green rectangle has to overlap the blue rectangle. They have some code here. The code is not correct. You have to fix up the code and read where it says do this. Okay, so that's a challenge. All right. The next skill building routine is you have a teal circle and a yellow circle. Now you can see right here the teal color is there, the first ellipse is there, it's missing the second ellipse and the second color. So you're going to have to figure out how to do that. So if I hit run right now, it just shows me the 1. I have to also put a yellow one, and it has to go right in the center from the looks of it. So you have to figure out how to do that. All right? Once you've done a few of these, they get easier. Here we go with a little bit more challenge. It says choose one of the following activities. So there are 3 activities to choose from. You choose the one that you want to do. You click on it and it'll take you to that activity. This is the assessment. This shows me what you understand. Now this one, this is what your end result should be. Okay, so this is wrong. There's a problem with it. It says look at the code in the workspace, change the code so that it makes the picture on the right. You'll need to move one line of code and change the coordinates of the square. All right, so you need to move one line of code. So moving a line of code, guys, just means you can grab it and drag it to somewhere else. Now, let's see if I just move this here. Okay, I can move these wherever I want. Doesn't matter. Let's say you totally mess it up. You're totally messed up. You messed up all your code and you want to start over. Here's how you do that. You go to version history and you click on start over, and then everything goes back to the way that it was, so you can start fresh. Okay, and then challenges at the end. Choose one of these challenges at the end in order to do this. So this is the assignment I'm giving you. This is due Friday. I'm probably going to also put another assignment up about Wednesday that you will get started on, but we're going to start out small, start out easy, so hopefully everybody can get understanding this. Now, when you're all done, all of your assignments, this is where you would go back and you would answer that last question right here. How can we communicate to a computer how to draw shapes on the screen? Okay? If you have any problems, any questions, any concerns, please let me know. Send me an email. If you're in the classroom, obviously I can help you in the classroom. All right. Well, good luck.